Hello and welcome to Gartenseile. We're back with a little new product presentation. This time it's all about saving energy, a lot of energy. We had the opportunity from Anker to try out the SOLIX balcony power plant, including the storage unit. And we want to share our experiences with this product from Anker. We hope you enjoy the video. The product was provided to us directly by Anker, but as always, we present our honest opinion on the topic. So let's take a look at what we've got here. It's a complete set that you can order directly from Anker's website. It is promised that everything I need for the complete installation is included, and it is advertised that everything can be done very quickly and easily. Of course, we want to try that out. We already had a small balcony power plant in the back with some older solar panels. That should be replaced with something of higher quality from Anker. Here we see the solar storage unit. This has a capacity of 1600 watt-hours. This is supposed to allow me to make the most of the solar energy for my own use. Through the storage, Anker has two different bills. One calculation is based on a 90% self-consumption rate. And once with a conservative calculation at 40%, I think it will settle somewhere in the middle. What's included? The inverter is also included, as well as the mounting bracket. And the mounting bracket is suitable for both the garden and the balcony. And there are specific brackets for flat roofs. The panels have a total output of 1080 watts divided into two sets of 540 watts. They really look nice in terms of surface area, and I just really like this full black design. There are small QR codes everywhere with instructions that you can use. That worked really well. Even though I have to say that the instructions weren't necessarily always needed because most of it is really self-explanatory. The brackets are being screwed together step by step. There are 3 parts per element that are attached with simple screws, which can then be secured to the solar panel in the second step. It all went really smoothly. Here you have different settings for the orientation, or rather, the tilt angle. It depends a bit on where you are in Germany, how it should be oriented, and in which direction show your balcony power plants. We found that a pure south orientation isn't always the most sensible choice, because you also want a bit of sun in the morning and evening. That's why we're going to try it out a bit in the garden and just vary things a little to see how it all works and how much electricity is generated. The cables are already being prepared in advance, disconnected from us so that later we just have to plug everything together. Overall, the setup is really very simple. We've set it up here in the garden for now to see where we will place it later and what the exact orientation is. In the middle between the two panels we see the storage unit. Next to it there's a panel on each side. They are really nice, large, and they also feel great in terms of texture and quality. The storage unit has 2 inputs for 2 solar cells, of course. So that means the 2 solar panels are each connected to the battery, and the battery is then connected to the inverter, which is in turn connected to your home network. Everything just gets plugged together with these MC4 connections. The nice thing is that Anker also provides a tool to disconnect this connection, which is otherwise always a bit tricky. So that means even if you accidentally click the wrong thing while plugging it together, you can easily take it apart again. The last element was the inverter. The inverter also has plug connections that simply get plugged together. And there are different extension cables included that I can use if the panels are a bit far apart. I have to say, the complete set is really excellent. Everything we needed was included. They were plugged into each other, the instructions are good. That was really done, in under 30 minutes. Of course, without the final assembly where the panels will go. That depends a bit on the conditions on site. The last step, the inverter is plugged in with 2 T cables. Each one. And then the inverter currently has an output of 600 watts. It was suspected, or rather, quite a lot of people were sure that on 1 January, the limit of 800 watts for simplified registration. It will be changed, but that hasn't happened yet. Also, pay attention during the installation to whether you can and are allowed to do it yourself, depending on where you are. And if you're unsure, there's still electricity. Then please go to a professional and get the help you need. I was able to install it myself. That wasn't a problem for me. It was also easy in terms of the connection, but as I said, make sure to inform yourselves beforehand about what is allowed for you and especially check whether you need to register it with your network operator and the brand registry. Finally, the Schuko plug is plugged into the socket. Yes, there is also this power feed socket. There was no cable included, just the plain Schuko plug. That worked wonderfully for us. Once everything was connected, we moved on to the next step. Because Anker offers a super app that is supposed to show you your electricity consumption and the share of self-generated power. Because if you think about it, with a 90% self-consumption of the electricity and the two panels are supposed to generate up to 1,000 kilowatt hours a year, over a 25-year usage, that would mean savings of nearly 10,000 euros. And even if you only calculate with a 40% share of self-consumption, the savings would still be over 4,000 euros, calculated at 40 cents per kilowatt hour. The app worked excellently. Now let's take a closer look at that. So, what can the app actually do? It's important for the requirements that there is Wi-Fi available where the inverter and the battery are located. Fortunately, that's the case for us throughout the entire garden. Then you can simply go to the App Store, both for Android and iOS, and download the app. After a short registration, which can be done either with an Amazon account or an Apple account, but also just with your email address, you can add the devices. You need to be nearby with your phone because everything connects via Bluetooth at first in order to later add the Wi-Fi connection. After that, Bluetooth is no longer needed. Both devices are added one by one. Both the solar panels are recognized via the battery as well as the inverter. We add both so that we have configured our system in the app as we added them one by one, and then we really have access to all the functions. The app worked excellently. The installation was really very easy and everything was found without any errors from the very beginning. Unfortunately, that's not always the case with all devices, but here it really worked very well. After the entire system has been set up, you go into the configuration and it says how much the battery should provide at any given time. That means I need to deal with my base load. The standard load is specified as 200 watts. This means that from the battery, as soon as it's charged, at least these 200 watts will be continuously supplied. If the battery is full and the solar panel generates more power, it works just like a normal balcony power plant. 2 into your very normal energy cycle. It's really nice that you can set different times. I later adjusted it so that during the day I feed a little less electricity into my grid, but in the evening, for example, when I watch more TV and all the lights are on, I want to have a bit more electricity. What you can also see in the app is really the share of self-generated electricity that you're using, how much you've saved, and where exactly how much electricity is being generated, transmitted, or stored. I'm just thrilled with the app. The app worked well, and the overview it shows me is really great. And the setup was super easy. That's really something nice that has pleasantly surprised me a lot. You can really tell that Anker is a technologically advanced provider and the software aspect is just so important. I personally still use Tipper as my electricity provider, so I also have the advantage of checking the electricity prices a bit to see when I want to feed in how much. And I already have an overview here and can simply see how much are better. The new panels are much better compared to my old ones, which are back in the corner. I have a lot of power that I'm generating much more at the moment compared to when I had significantly less available with my old panels. I really like that. And now the best part at the end, we have a link for you that lets you save up to 500 euros on exactly this bundle. And probably even more fun in the future with your electricity bill. So go down to the comments and the video description. We've linked it for you again there. Overall, we really have to say that we are very satisfied with the set from us. The product from Anker, the SOLIX RS50B with storage, gets a thumbs up. And then we hope you enjoyed this little video. If you haven't done so yet, feel free to subscribe so you won't miss any of the future videos. Here we have another interesting video for you. And if you're generally interested in the topic of gardening, check out our website at www.gartenseil.de. Until next time,